Hey everybody, this is chapter 7, section 3. We're dealing with some different rules of multiplying exponents. This is pretty quick, but it's a really important one because this is kind of a concept you would use in a lot of other math classes. Okay, so let's make sure you take good notes, get your classwork done. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay, once again, I am going to try to move through it quickly for the video. So if you're getting kind of falling behind on your note taking, just hit pause, get it caught up, and then hit play. Okay. When we take this first example here, and you could write these down as I go, or you could pause it and write them all down and come back. When you have something like this and you have an exponent outside the parentheses, it really means that I'm going to do this. Okay, and that's what it's telling me to do. And from the last section, when we had an example like this, if the base is the same, I want to add the exponents, okay? So I would get that, all right? So same thing here, you know, if I have a power of 2 and it's telling me to do this, well, this is going to involve a little bit more here, okay? So I have to write it, I don't have to write it out twice. I'm just kind of showing you what it's telling me to do, and then we're going to come up with the rule. But that means I have to multiply the 3's together. That gets me 9. The bases are the same. That gets, you know, I can rewrite it as 1x, but I would add the exponents, and I get that. Okay. So a lot of kids forget about this 3 being done twice as we kind of move on, and they just deal with this. Okay. So when you have this 2 on the outside, it's telling me that I've got to really raise each power by that 2. Okay, so kind of just distributing that. All right. So taking those 2 examples we got, let's come up with a rule that doesn't make me have to write this out all the time. If you look at it, 5 times 2 gave me this 10. And 5 times 2 gave me the 10. But this was really, you know, when I did it to the 3 here, it was really 3 to the 2nd power. That's what gave me the 9, okay? So I think a rule that we could use here is that I'm going to go ahead, if I have a power, which is this 2 being raised by another power, my rule I think I could make is I could multiply those 2. So that would get me 2 to the 6th, okay? And then if you want to multiply that out, 2 to the 6 is, I think it's 64. Yep, it is. Okay. So taking that rule, then let's distribute this 3 through here. So that's going to get me 2 to the 6th and x to the 6th, which, you know, 2 to the 6th is 64. Okay. So the rule here is we can multiply exponents when they're being raised by another power. So since the 5's outside, I can go ahead and multiply them. I get an m to the 15th. Okay. Remember the invisible or imaginary ones. So I want to distribute the 5 through. So I get 2 to the 5th, m to the 5th, but 2 to the 5th is 32. Okay. So most of these numbers you could probably multiply it out. Remember that you could, you know, if you had something like this, in your calculator, you'd put the base number in, so that's 2. You use the caret symbol on your calculator, so on the left-hand side, I think about the 5th one down, if you have one like mine, and then you put in the number that's the exponent, and that will get you an answer. So that's an easy way to do something like that, okay? So from what we just did here, let's come up with a couple rules. Okay, if it's a power to a power, multiply the exponents. So that really means that if you have like a number or some similar like this, that's a power to a power. So I want to be able to multiply it to get that. So write that example down with that definition. Okay. The second part of that rule would be if there are multiple items in the parentheses all raised to a power, multiply to each exponent in the parentheses. Don't forget your invisible 1. So that's kind of, you know, something like we did a little bit ago. Okay, there's an invisible 1 on everything in here. So, you know, this one already had an exponent, but this one didn't have it, but we don't write the 1s. Anything greater than 1 we do. So remember to multiply it through, and then you could simplify 2 to the 4th is 16. Okay. All right. So just some really quick ones if you guys want to do that. I'm going to change this guy because we don't really deal a lot with the fraction exponents. It's just kind of a way to practice doing fraction stuff. So that's going to get me into the 28. Let's change this one to this, then that. Okay. You know, I get the fraction thing. We just want to get you guys to keep practicing it, but we really don't use it. It's really not necessary. You know, we don't ever use it kind of the real world unless you're doing some really calculus stuff. But we want to get this kind of thing, multiply those together. Okay. So same thing here. Let's change this one. I'm going to let's just change the whole thing over here. Okay. And hold on a second. Okay. So kind of throwing a couple different things in here. When we look at this, I want to go back to my rule to add them because there's not a power being raised by a power. This is a power being raised by a power. Okay. So I want to get this. Then I can go back. Oops, I'm sorry. 6, not 16. But then I want to go back and be able to go back to the last section and be able to add them now. So don't. A lot of times we're going to get really mixed up and stuff and kind of get things going backwards because we're jumping back between rules. So you got to have your rules straight. All right, to get the area of a square is the base times the height. And if you know a square, the base and the height of all the sides really are going to be the same. So if they give me one side this, then I'm going to call the height that. So I can go ahead and multiply these two together. Okay. Or I could have written like this because they're the same. This is how we kind of use exponents. We kind of rewrite stuff that might be a little bit similar. Some people might debate that. Okay. Either way, you're going to be fine as long as you do everything right. But 5 times 5 is 25. And then x to the third is x to the 6th. If I did this, you use this, remember I'm going to distribute that, so I'm going to get 5 squared, and then I multiply here x to the 6th, so I get 25x to the 6th. Okay? So I got the same answer both ways, so that would be D. Okay? All right, we're going to skip problem 4 just because there is just so much there. It's kind of cool, and if we had more time, we'd probably do it, but for what we really want you guys to get, those are just kind of testing you some other skills with the concept you're doing. Okay. So once again, make sure you get all your work done. If you got any questions, please ask, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.